Good morning, fellow Plexers. Today's video is going to show how to rip a DVD with MakeMKV, and the DVD I'm about to load up is Casper Scare School Season 2 Volume 1, and here is the listing for it at TVDB. So let me load my DVD into my Blu-ray player and open up MakeMKV. What I want to do is rip this disc and then show you how to use Filebot to rename a ripped disc, which is a little bit slightly more complex than renaming acquired media. So let me click on the disc. We'll let MakeMKV analyze it. And I'm using the beta version. The developer of this program has a link someplace on the web, I've got it squirreled away, where he includes a key. The key may only work for a month or two or three, but it allows you to keep using the program without purchasing it. And seeing that the developer posts this key himself, it's not really a hack. You can buy it if you want, or you can use it for free with the developer's blessing. So that's why mine says beta. Alright, so we've got these different episodes that are loaded up, and the next thing we're going to do is click MakeMKV. It's telling me that it wants to point to a spot on the local drive. And it's starting its process. So right now I'm going to pause the video, and I'll come back and pick up when the ripping operation is complete, and we'll show you what we have to do to get things set up in Filebot. Unfortunately, a ripped disc of TV show episodes is not going to have anything for Filebot to go to match up with. So any entry at TVDB shows the aired and the DVD order. Now I think this is an important part to stop at. I simply prefer using TVDB when ripping a disc because it's much easier to navigate than TMDB. But there are some small changes between the two. And let me show you what you have to do in Plex to compensate. So in your TV show library, you can go to it and click these three dots, or you can, well, where are my dots? There they are. Click these three dots and click Manage Library and then Edit. And the only change you need to do from a default TV show library using the latest version of Plex is to go here to Advanced and to drop down and just change the episode ordering to the TVDB. Now, in most cases, both databases match up for almost every show out there with the regular season episodes. You will find differences more often than not in the specials folders. Lots of times, the movie database has more specials listed than the TV database does. The ones that match may coincide with their numbering, or they may not. And every once in a while, TVDB will have a delayed second season as the second season of a TV show, where the movie database may make that its own separate TV show. There are other small differences. Let's get rid of this. If you went to an episode like Showtime, or sorry, not Showtime, Shameless, which was on Showtime. Well, Shameless was previously broadcast in the UK, and then the American market copied it with a brand new show. So the movie database adds a year to each show title, just like it does for movies, where the TV database doesn't. If the show was originally on in the UK, it's simply labeled Shameless. When the US version came, they simply put US in parentheses after the name of the show, and that denotes the differences. And Plex can use either show naming folder scheme, doesn't matter which one. But I do think it's important that you change the one setting in Plex to either point to TV database or the movie database. And again, this is so much easier to use when you have to match up episodes to see what they really are in the aired versus DVD order. Because that's what you're getting here. You're getting the DVD order. But we still want to make sure that we have the right episodes, and they won't be labeled by what season or episode number they are. So that means manually opening each episode to find the title scene and then giving a quick rename to your files manually before you can turn it loose on Filebot. So if the first episode we open is called Totally Bats, well, we have to change whatever name is given to it. Let's see what we got so far. C2-TOO.MKV. That gives Filebot nothing to go on. So we'll have to view an episode just long enough to see which one it is, and you can either quickly copy this in or this in, and Filebot will use either. So I'll give an example of doing it both ways once we get to that stage. Alright, so enough talk. Let me pause this, and I'll come back once the disk is ripped. Okay, MakeMKV had a failure. It saved 12 titles and one failed. So if I go back in here and look, the one that it failed on appears to be the 4.4 gigabyte one, which I don't care about anyway. So all of these are around 300 megabytes, just like the individual episodes would be here, and this is just one big master video that would need to be split apart. So I don't need that. So now the trouble is we have no idea which episodes these are. Let's make an assumption that they are not numbered according to the aired order, but we'll find that out in a second. So in order to prevent a copyright strike, I've already opened the first video up to get past the title or the beginning sequence to get to the title sequence, and it's the monster movie episode. So I don't need that any longer. I just need to find monster movie here. So let me just use search. Okay, so this is the first episode of the second season. So you can copy it either way. I can just copy the season and episode numbering. I could copy the name, or I could copy both. Let me try both. So you may think, what's the point of using Filebot if you're already going to this trouble anyway? Well, you have to go to this trouble. But the way I set Filebot up, it adds extra information to a file name. When I get done, this will tell me the resolution, the encoding codec used, and it'll tell me information about the audio file. That way, in case I come across a better version, Filebot will add those media characteristics to the file name, and I'll be all set. So I have to do this with each video. Let me do this on screen. So immediately this one came up with Quacky Duck. So again, it's a matter of going here, and this time I'm just going to use the episode name. Let's do one more and hope we don't get a copyright strike. Alright, I'm going to take this off screen and find the title. So when this was originally broadcast, I bet you they did 2 episodes together in one broadcast, which is why you just see the title for the second episode, where the third episode would have been a new broadcast, and they'd show the full beginning sequence again. Alright, so let me just root around here manually, a little bit off screen. Okay, so it's doppelgangers. Alright, so this is going exactly by the order here, which is the DVD order. So let's just use this name here. So now I could confidently probably just rename these in order that they appear on this list. Well, say you didn't want the DVD order. You would just simply switch to the eared order, and you'd have to rename based on that. So let's do this first. This one is going to screw Filebot up the way I have it set up, but these two should not. So let me just do this. Let me open, well here, let me highlight these. And let me open Filebot. Got a couple different directions my mind wants to go in at the same time. Okay, so let's check my expression out. I'm going to edit my preset. And I don't know if I'll include this in this video, but you can find these presets in the descriptions of all my Filebot videos. So I have this preset set up to use the air date and not the DVD. So you could change this here if you wanted to use the DVD. I'm going to leave it on the air date and show you what happens if you're just using the episode names. Okay, so this is throwing Filebot for a loop right here. Oh, no, it found it. I was going to go back and put it in a properly named show folder. But so look, it matched up this just based on the file name. And of course it's going to be eared order, not DVD. And it actually got this too, but I believe, nope, this is where we're missing it. Well, we may not be. I'm on season 1. Again, unscripted is fun, isn't it? Okay, so Monster Movie was the first episode in both orders, whether it was a DVD or how it was broadcast. So you don't really have to change the underlying expression, but you could have two TV show expressions, one for the DVD order and one for the eared order. And it's as simple as getting your preset going and going from there. So let's erase all this again. Let's pretend you're not using my presets. Let me just open Filebot up fresh. The default Filebot bindings will find these episodes. So I'm just going to hit match and choose the TVDB under episode mode. So you could search through here to see if you can find your show, but it's just going off the episode name. So let me just skip that, and it found it anyway. And again, we ended with the same result, we just don't have that extra file information in it. So if I rename these, well, I don't like that. It doesn't have the proper coding. So let me do that again. Let's see what happened. I never use the default binding, and I don't know why it's turning out this way. Edit the format. Well, it should be using this, which it looks like it is. Well, maybe I made some adjustment to Filebot in the past that screwed that up. So now we've got the proper season and episode code. So the only difference, if you look at this is just the proper name of the show, the proper season and episode coding, and the proper file name. If we use my preset, it adds in that extra media characteristics. So let me rename this. And I don't know why this couldn't be renamed. Well, let's skip that for now. So anyway, you'll see this file name here has a very descriptive file name. So you can just look at your file and know what version of something you have. So anyway, that's the basic gist of ripping your own media. No media renamer can handle these because you don't really know what they are. But again, we can make an assumption based on the first few we tried that if we were using DVD order, we could simply paste in the episode name or the season and episode information, and Filebot will handle it from there, depending how you choose to set the order up. So I could just keep also, the DVD order does show both of these as being part of episode 2 of season 2. So that's actually not going to work out too well. You'll want to use the aired order, and that's why this threw the error. Quacky duck. Now I've got it. You can't have two with the same season and episode coding. So let's go back to Filebot once more. Every day is a school day with Plex, and because I don't use the DVD order with TV shows for kids, I just learned something new. Okay, let me look at my preset. It's still the air date. Well, let me just start fresh on these. Get rid of everything except for the episode name. Oh, I see what's going on here. I've got something wrong here. This is the doppelgangers one. So trying to use DVD order really messed this up. So just rename them for the episode or the season episode coding for the aired order, and you'll be all set. Let's drag these back in. Use my expression. All right, we've got a match on all these, rename. And again, that would be a library setting. Let me see, is that a library setting or a setting for the show? All right, so let's take a TV show. And let's go into it to advanced. Okay, so I can manually change my default library settings to the DVD order per a show. So if you did have them renamed and you use Filebot to grab the DVD order, you could use that without having that be the default setting for your library. So that's all I needed to know. I mean, there is a default setting under Manage Library, Editing, Advanced, and Again, this is pulling episode ordering from the one database versus the default of the movie database. I'm trying to see if there is a default here for, I guess not. I guess it's just default at the show level. And the default happens to be just the reorder. I'm assuming. I may be having a mental block on that. There may be a setting I missed someplace. But anyway, that's the gist. There's a little bit more work with RIP media versus acquired media. Acquired media is going to have some information that already gives Filebot tons of clues, but you won't know if somebody named it to the DVD order or to the broadcast order. So if they named it to the DVD order, you've got to watch Filebot carefully unless you chose that in the settings of Filebot. Because it may take the episode stuff and then overwrite the episode name. So the safest way, I don't use Filebot this way myself, but the safest way is if you're going to mix DVD with broadcast order is just to give your ripped media the episode name, and that way no matter which path you take, you're going to turn out okay. Filebot will compensate for you. But if you're using both and you've got the wrong one set, you know, if your media is already numbered in DVD order and you're using Filebot for broadcast order, it's going to give them the wrong names, or vice versa. So just going with the episode name is something I haven't talked about in previous Filebot videos, but if you want to get into DVD order, it's an important distinction to make. So this video kind of went off the rails, but it is what it is. I learned something, and hopefully anyone watching learns something too. Happy Plexing.